what's up YouTube? Dark Signer here, coming at you guys with another video. So, I think the last time I uploaded was a couple weeks ago. I just kind of wanted to show you guys the Monarch deck that I ended up playing at locals. And what's it called? It's a remote duel one. What's it called? I actually really like the deck. I wanted to take a break because I had just entered the VIP qualifier thing for Pasadena. I ended up losing in like the 4th round, like right before the finals. I ended up losing to myself. All I had to do was attack, and instead I ended up like, I don't know, I just ended up bringing a monster with Vampire Sucker to his side of the field, and then I wanted to draw a card, and it was just dumb. All I had to do was attack, and I win. We went into time, sorry. And yeah, it was bad. It was off by 200. If I just didn't reborn that monster, I win. And I should have played, I think it was Pack in the finals. I was playing just like pure Elage. So then like the next day I ended up just playing a remote duel, one of the locals. What's it called? And I wanted to play Monarch just to have some fun, just because I was already kind of tilted from the day before. What's it called? Ended up going 3-1 in Swiss, and then we split the finals, and then I won top 8 and won top 4. So yeah, I'll show you guys the deck, and I'll show you guys how I played it and stuff like that. So Monarch's nothing too spectacular. I just wanted to play it because I was messing around with the fund release, and I just couldn't get my hands on the actual card, so I wanted to play something similar. So I ended up playing Monarchs. First of all, triple ether, along with the one Karaz. So I just didn't want to play multiple Karaz just because this card's not very good anymore. Like, yeah, popping cards sometimes is good against like Tri-Brigade and stuff like that. Something with like the normal summon is super relevant, but against most decks, like, you just don't get that option. You just don't get to pop anything against like the Sky Striker. It's dead. Against like everything is pretty much dead. Most of the time, we just use this to draw 2 cards, and then after you search off the turn. So that's basically what I used it for. It's another tribute, so sometimes it comes up. Sometimes you can just get like a free draw one just by summoning it. Get a return search, pop return, get it, you know. So that's the only way that it really comes up most of the time. So just one. I think one is fine. So that's it for those. And then for like the ones that disrupt, I guess. So 2. What's it called? I don't even know this guy's name. 2 Erebus, my bad, and then 2 Distalos. So essentially, obviously, you need to hit the hand first turn. Obviously, you want to summon this one first and then this one. I ended up not playing 3 of this because it just doesn't come up as often anymore. Like, yeah, you can still bounce cards and it's still really good, but just 2 is like fine. And then I don't want to play 3 Distalos and 1 Erebus just because obviously, like, being able to send the spells and traps is actually really relevant. This guy comes up in time, it burns you. What's it called? You can discard any card you want from their hand. You can discard the Evenleys, the Lightning Storms, whatever you want to get rid of. So I think these cards just kind of go hand in hand. This card's actually super good. But obviously, like I said, you want to summon this and then this. And then I'll show you guys, like, I guess how I facilitated that. But yeah. So that's it for those. Obviously, with this deck, you want to win the dice roll. Going second, game 1 is really tough. Like, you have to know how to bait stuff out. And I'll show you guys, I guess, some stuff about that. So 2 Vanity Fiends and then 1 Majesties. These cards are actually really good. Like, at first, I wasn't playing them before. But they came up a lot. Obviously, this is searchable, so you don't want to play multiples of this. But this plus Domain is, like, game against most decks just because, like, against, like, everything is just kind of, like, obviously really broken. And, this guy is actually still really good in this format. If they're not playing droplets or anything like that, then you just auto-win. Sometimes deciding, like, what's it called? Like, Dark Blue no more. But if you have this plus Domain, they're still kind of locked out of it, so it's fine. And, yeah, I don't want to play more. And then, yeah. They worked out fine. And then to facilitate the tributes, I didn't play Idea, I didn't play Adios, I didn't play any of that stuff. I played 3 of the Pendulum guy. This guy's super busted. If you guys don't know what it does, you place it on the scale, you pop it, you draw a card, and you can spell summon it back from the extra deck if there's nothing else besides himself. And then you spell summon it as a Cyber Dragon, and then you just tribute it to summon one of your guys. And the cool thing is that when he's tributed, when he's brought back and then you like left the field, he banishes himself, so it clears your extra deck. So just a free Upstart Goblin plus a Cyber Dragon that facilitates your tribute. So this guy is ridiculous. The only thing you have to remember is that some of your cards interfere with that, so you can't use this in Stormforth in the same turn. Or like if you have return, you can't bring it back, so you just have to make sure that you understand that. But this card's really good going first, obviously. And then Triple Mithra, what's it called? I don't know. It's like I've been going back and forth between 2 and 2. What's it called? This card is just super busted, just in the sense that like it gives you the extra tribute summon, and then you give them a token. So a lot of the time when they have like impermanent stuff like that in their hand, they can't do anything with it. Against like Sky Striker is really good because you just drop it on them and they have to deal with the token. So there's so many ways to use this card, I guess, to its full potential, and then obviously being able to like I said, like most of the time you have like domain plus this tribute for Erebus. You get rid of the card, so they have to they have to get the Veiler out of their hand and stuff like that usually, and then you summon the Stalos to get rid of the actual relevant card in their hand. So you do have 6 tributes, and I think it's fine. Plus the trap, it becomes really good. And yeah, I don't like I said, I don't want to play a Dare or Adios. Those guys are just bad. If those things get Ass or Veiler, it's over. Like you can't do nothing. So I just don't want to play it. And then I played 3 Gamma and 1 Driver, obviously. So this is one way to bait stuff out because a lot of the time like they have to negate Pantheism, or they have to negate Stormforth. So then you just tribute over for the Gamma, and you just clear boards with this. Like honestly, like there's a lot of times because you could like activate one, then negate it, activate another one, and then use this to get rid of the second negate, and then it'll all go through. So you'll get rid of their monster with this, Stormforth the other monster, and then you clear the thing with Erebus. So you get rid of 3 cards essentially, right? So this guy is actually just really busted. I don't want to play any other hand trap just because these guys is all you need. Sometimes you tribute for this, so it kind of comes up sometimes. And then these guys, obviously, you can use them for tribute fodder. If you use them on your turn, it protects, like I said, your Pantheism. This thing, someone tried to ghost over this and then protected it as well. So I played 3/3, like cards nutties. 3 Stormforth, obviously. 3 return because I just want access to the Stalos at all times. So you can tribute anything, summon the Stalos, and then same thing with like it searches the Majesty's Fiend. So there's a lot of scenarios where you just want that. So yeah. So there's a lot of scenarios where like if you have like multiple ways to summon a monster, you can get like Vanities and Majesties. And the game at that point is just over. Like nothing could really kill you. Like Eldritch can't even kill you with all the back row they have. Like so, yeah. Because they can't send Golden Lord and they can't what's it called, bring out their traps or anything. So you just auto win that matchup as well. 3 Tenacity, 1 Foolish Burial Goods. I cut out the Foolish Burial just because I only wanted like to send the Erebus. I used to want to send the 80 just to get stuff going, but I just ended up cutting it. And I played 2 what's it called, the Prime Monarch, and then 1 what's it called, Escalation of the Monarch. These cards are actually just really good. Escalation comes up a lot with like the Vanities Fiends and stuff because a lot of the time you want to use like Erebus and the Stalos to get rid of stuff, and then this to tribute over for the Vanities or the Majesty's Fiend. And then in the tournament, I did play this, the Frost of the Monarch, but this card was super dead a lot of the time, so I just ended up cutting it just for the deck profile. That way you guys don't play this card. And then I wanted to side it, but the thing is, without Idea, you have no way to recur this, so essentially it just becomes like an MST. Whereas before, I could like add this back with Idea and like pop more and then like blow up a bunch of stuff. So it became more relevant that way. It's still fine, but I just don't want to draw it when I don't have tributes. And it's good against like Eldritch and all the other decks, but it's bad against like everything else. So you guys can still test it out. I might side deck it, like we'll see, because it still comes up a lot. So I might just cut like a Cosmic Cyclone for it or a Shared Ride. But yeah, so I guess actually yeah, I guess we'll do that. We'll side this card against like the decks that is really good because it was good against Sky Striker. It was good against a lot of matchups actually. So it's just not very good going first. So yeah, so we'll do that. But I did play it at the tournament. I was playing 41 just because I didn't feel like the need to draw like the Driver or multiple Gammas. So yeah, and a lot of the deck kind of just flows really well. Like it's not really bricky as normal decks should be, unless you obviously draw like a bunch of like tributes, which could happen. Don't get me wrong, but most of the time you don't really brick. As far as like the side deck goes, I played 1 Pankratops, triple. There can only be one. I mean, sorry, Dark Lure No More. So essentially, this card allows you to clear like a lot of boards. I was trying to play like figure like Lava Golem or like Ross Firmo because those cards have been winning me a lot of games with other decks. But the fact that your normal summon is super relevant, I just had to play this just because like you Dark Ruler No More of them, and then you can like Stormforce get rid of something, Erebus get rid of something else, or like Ether and then run over 2, and then like it just allows you to clear the board completely. And then obviously this card just like it deals with everything. It deals with negates, and then the thing is once you put up Domain, it's really hard for them to come back because they wasted a lot of resources to build the board. And now that you have Domain on board, it just kind of locks them out of it. And then I did play 3 Share Ride because I think the Sky Striker matchup is like almost unwinnable when you I guess like in general it's just really unwinnable. So like being able to flip share right, get some cards out of it, and then have a lot of like your side deck drawn and stuff is how you win that matchup. Because you can draw into like Pancratops, you can draw into like your Cosmics or like your this, like your Harpies or like evenly matched and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things you could just draw into off of share right. And then the thing is, you know for a fact they never kill you. Yeah, and then it's just really good. And then like the matchup isn't as hard as I thought it was gonna be. I ended up playing a couple, and like a lot of the time I distributed for like Ether when they try to target it with Widow to try to take it. And then obviously this card just came in clutch. This card was really good. And then 3 Cosmics. I took out the Twins for this just because Eldritch is running around and I just don't want to deal with Eldritch. That deck's probably like one of my worst matchups. So yeah, that's just why I have a bunch of like back row hate. 1 Harpy's Fiddle Duster. This card's ridiculous. 3 Evenly Match, and then 1 Red Reboot just for like Tri Brigade. Because a lot of the time, like, you could beat that deck pretty easily if they just have Appaloosa or like the guy that bounces. Like, that matchup's free. The only time it's annoying is like if they like revolt on you, like trying to get rid of like your tribute summoner, your tribute fodder monster. So then you just use this, and then they can't flip it once you have domain, and then the deck just has a bunch of little beat sticks that can't clear like your Monarch, so you just win. And they'll have dead revolts and stuff like that. And then but like I said, I would probably maybe cut like a share ride, put this back in just because this card is actually kind of nutty against the matchups that it's good against. Like I said, I wouldn't main deck it again. I just wanted a main deck because it's a free MST. But yeah, and no extra deck. Obviously, this is Monarchs. Short and simple. I ended up playing, I think round 1 I played against Tri Brigade. Round 2 I played against Striker. I ended up beating that one. Round 3 I played against Striker. Obviously, they were both playing the EDP, whatever it's called. I lost to the second one. Couldn't beat that. I thought I could, but I ended up coming down to time. He just ended up burning me with the one that like, you gain 100 every time you use a spell. So yeah, we went into time. That matchup's really grindy. And then round 4, it was like I think it was like Virtual World with like the Sorcerer stuff. The matchup's free. They have to pop your stuff, and like I said, a lot of the time you just bring out Ether. And then like the only other way to interact is to try to negate like your Vanity's Fiend with the one that negates monster effects, but then they still have to deal with domain and they just can't clear that. In top 8, I played against what's it called, the Tri Brigade guy. I ended up beating that, and then top 4, I played against Sorcerer. Ended up beating that. In the finals, I would have played some like Eldritch guy, but we just ended up splitting because I had to go. And yeah, I mean, like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll try to go more into detail because last time I remember people were asking me like, how do you deal with Dragoon? How do you deal with this? So as far as like the Dragoon question, obviously not a lot of people are playing Dragoon right now. So a lot of the time it's not so hard. Obviously Dark Ruler No More just kind of deals with like a lot of this stuff. Or same thing with like the Stormforce. You just have to know how to like use certain things and just have multiple ways of interaction. Obviously like having like Stormforce plus like Gamma is obviously broken just because you just negate it and stuff like that. But just being able to make them negate something and then just obviously using like everything in correct sequence because you want certain things like to bait certain things to let other things resolve. And then once this deck is going, once you have Domain, once you have Ether in hand, once you have Erebus, it's the game is just pretty much out of hand because like if you guys, so the second effect of Erebus is once he's in the graveyard, he could discard a spell trap, when the Monarch spell trap, to add himself or any other basically any other Monarch and stuff. So you could just like let your Ether like you know what I mean, like you could just tribute over it, send it to the graveyard, have them both in the grave, add it back. There's a lot of scenarios where I just kept doing that stuff, or like if I had like Gamma in hand and then try to kill my Ether, like once it died, I still have Gamma in hand, and then I just add it back, and then I'll have the fodder for it, and I just do it again, and then yeah. So there's a lot of like I don't know, it's hard to say. I think I'll just have to more like show you guys like a video of me playing the deck, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We'll be uploading some videos, just some gameplay on it, and yeah, peace out, guys. Have a good one.